All right, well, it's 2 minutes past the hour. Why don't we go ahead and get started? So I wanted to say hello to everyone and welcome you to our cloud architecture and security discussion. This is essentially a panel, but we're going to go through a few slides first. And then our panel of industry experts are here to answer your questions. So let me introduce today's panel. I'm Al Capel, Director of Sales here at RamSoft, and I'll be the moderator for this panel. And then our panel of technology experts are Mark Cornice, our Director of IT and Security, Oscar Santos, Information Security Officer, and Carlos Tavares, Technical Sales Representative. So a little bit about who RamSoft is. So founded over 25 years ago, RamSoft is a patient care company, not just a software company. This ideology guides the way we envision, develop, and deliver solutions to our customers. With that in mind, we develop software that is single platform, very easy to use, and has an incredibly versatile and configurable workflow that is also highly scalable. Very early on, we realized cloud services were eventually going to be the way everyone works. This vision and early adoption of cloud technology has enabled our continued success. 99% of our new customers are choosing our cloud services. Our existing traditional on-prem customers are realizing the benefits of heightened security and scalability as they transition to our cloud daily. So let's face it, I mean, really, cloud services are here to stay. But people have many questions, and that's why you're here today and why we're having this panel. Let's review the agenda quick. Today we'll discuss our cloud platform, why we chose Microsoft Azure as our hosting partner. We'll discuss how our products work in the cloud. Everyone is always concerned about security and data protections. And not everyone, so we'll discuss that. Not everyone has heard of blob storage. It's actually been around since the early 80s, so it's a proven technology. We'll discuss blob and the security around it and so forth. How the storage containers grow dynamically, which eliminates errors and crashes associated with running out of disk space, which some people may have seen through the years, as those that manage servers know what I'm talking about. It's very common with on-prem deployments and so forth. And then we're going to open it up to take your questions and provide answers from our panel of experts. So as I mentioned, we were right before starting this that we'll take your questions at the end, but please, during this presentation, please feel free to enter your questions into the question window. Very easy to do. You can see on the screen here. Just type your question in and we'll answer them in the order received. So a little bit more about our hosting partner. We've utilized a couple of hosting providers over the years, but quickly discovered their limitations as our cloud deployments continued to grow. The services, security, scalability of Microsoft Azure align perfectly with our global growth, which is why we partnered with them more than 5 years ago, I believe. Microsoft Azure is available globally in 54 regions. They have over 90 offerings in their portfolio, the largest in the industry. And of course, that's expanding daily. 95% of Fortune 500 companies trust running their business within the Azure environment. So, why wouldn't we trust our reputation to this platform provider? So a little bit about the Microsoft Azure and our PowerServer product and how it fits. Our PowerServer family, our packs, risk packs, Tele Plus, etc., we're all developed early on as web-based applications, long before the proliferation of cloud technology. We knew it was going to be heading in that direction. So we developed it to where you essentially access our application through a web browser. Then our software was really already optimized to run in this cloud environment, which made the transition to cloud services really that much easier. Again, we were thinking ahead in doing that. talk about some of the benefits. So some of the benefits of the RamSoft Microsoft partnership. There's 24/7 availability with a 99.9% uptime. And I believe I saw a note where they're going to be increasing that uptime as well. So very shortly. There's consistent patching to ensure you're on the latest versions, and of course, geographically diverse redundant storage. So essentially, there's storage located in different geographical regions, maybe west and east and things like that. So, and for people that aren't familiar with geographically diverse redundant storage. Another thing, we can quickly and easily scale your cloud service. So almost like the click of a button to expand the VM size or add additional storage capacity, increase the CPU, and so forth. And then, of course, Microsoft's team of data center engineers manage the host and storage hardware. So a little bit about our security. Microsoft, let's talk about the Microsoft Azure data center. First of all, they provide enterprise level physical security. So only authorized personnel can enter. RamSoft's PowerServer cloud has been audited against SOC by a third party. Also, SOC 2 Type 2 report with no exceptions was granted to us. So, I mean, we're open to discuss anything you'd like regarding this or any other items that we have today regarding to Microsoft Azure. So let's go ahead and open it up now for any questions. Say hello to everybody. Thank you for joining.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
How do cloud-based PACS provide practices a safety net from ransomware attacks?
Okay, I'll field that one as the information security officer for RamSoft here. So having a cloud-based PACS hosted on a platform similar to Microsoft Azure inherits a lot of protection features to safeguard against various attacks, including ransomware. So kind of starting at the network level, Azure's industry-leading network and firewall technologies block all unwanted traffic even before it penetrates the system. So we configure the firewalls to only allow approved traffic into the network. So that'll be from your network into Azure. And then we have a deny rule for anything else. So any like potential malicious or potentially like, like attacking traffic gets denied automatically. So at the host level, we actually have a very, very strong security software running on each. They perform real-time scans on all files touched, all processes running, and it stays up to date on all virus definitions. So it knows how to attack new attacks as they enter and then block them before even executing. So another resistant level to ransomware is the type of storage that Al kind of mentioned. It's the blob storage. So blob storage is basically a large array of storage that are called data lakes. That it offers a lot of like performance metrics and things of that nature, but it also has very specific authentication measures in order to even gain access to it. So it limits the scope of exposure because only we have that authentication measure to actually access it. So let's say the ransomware does infect the system. From the operating system, it doesn't have the authentication measures to actually traverse that blob storage. So it kind of just like negates that, and your DICOM and study data is completely protected there. So let's say, again, the system is infected. Within our Azure model, we do have various backup and recovery methods that if the OS is like completely corrupted, we can easily regain access to it by recovering from a backup and then getting up and running pretty shortly. So incorporating all those protection measures greatly reduces the risk and potential exposures to these type of ransomware events, along with the recovery measures built into it. So your confidential patient data is safeguarded against such attacks.
Nice. I don't know if we want to drill in any deeper to SOC, but somebody had a question. I mean, how does it benefit my practice if I choose a SOC certified cloud solution provider?
Yeah, I'll put that one as well. So to give a little background, as you saw on the slide, SOC stands for Systems and Organization Controls, and it's very widely accepted auditing framework, actually internationally accepted. And SOC is a very good attestation because it assesses both the system, the platform, the application, whatever you're hosting, along with the organization behind it. So that's very key. So what's very beneficial with partnering with a company that has undergone a SOC audit is it builds some inherent trust with the company. That trust is that they're doing what they need to do to safeguard your data. So that's why the control groups within SOC, they're actually called trust service principles. So that's very appropriately named. So basically, an independent third-party auditor comes in and assesses a company's controls to validate whether they're operating within this industry standard. And we all know with the large prevalence of cloud providers and cloud solutions and everything like that, we're quickly kind of moving away from this old model where your confidential data only lives within your own bubble, your own company network. So to have that trust with a company that you're now sending your confidential data to is very important. So what that SOC report does, or any other attestation report, is actually very critical because it provides that peace of mind that that company you've partnered with is actually operating within these best practice standards.
Great, thanks, Oscar. There's another question here. How are cloud-based PACs more cost-effective than a traditional on-prem model? But there's a lot of reasons that I can think of.
Sure, so I can field that one. I grew up in data centers. I started my career where you would go into a data center, deploy network, SANs, servers. I know the pain. I also know the CapEx costs that are a result of such deployments. Obviously, you have to stage hardware, you have to procure the hardware, wait for delivery, somebody has to go to the data center, physically plug it in, which is all good. Then what happens 3 to 5 years later when you have to redo the same process? What happens when your storage runs out of space? You have to go through the same motion. So there's a lot of auxiliary controls required to kind of maintain scalability and growth. Cloud eliminates all of that. In all fairness, RamSoft uses cloud even for its corporate side, exactly for that reason. We partner with Microsoft to provide that service. We don't have to worry about scaling. We don't have to worry about physical assets. It's a great partnership, and it serves its purpose. The other auxiliary costs most people don't consider in these situations is labor costs. IT administrators, security administrators such as Oscar, they are expensive at the end of the day. Sometimes it's better to focus on your core business and have them align their skill sets against that rather than maintaining servers, maintaining hardware. It's a matter of ensuring that you get the best bang for your buck. And I don't think hardware necessarily is the best place for that anymore.
Yeah, good points. Good points. Thank Marks. Another question here is, will my practice lose data ownership if we migrate from on-prem to cloud-based PACs?
Actually take that one real quick.
Sure.
Because it's a simple answer. It's no. We're just providing you the managed hosting solution there. There's no data ownership that changes, that occurs as a result of utilizing our cloud hosting solution. It's still your data. You're just using our technology with Microsoft Azure to host it and have access to it.
Within the healthcare, we are obliged to follow HIPAA, and then within HIPAA, like, we act as the business associate. So we make sure that we have business associate agreements with our customers, and they have specific clauses that state the ownership kind of stays with the covered entity and never is passed on to the business associates. So we make sure that our BAAs are in place and pretty rock solid.
It's a great question too, because we're seeing more and more of our traditional on-prem customers migrating to the cloud. Their servers have reached end of life. Any day now they could die. Do they want to make another investment in hardware and all that? Or they're running out of storage space, or they're concerned about security and things like that. So they reach out to us to do that. And daily we're implementations working on transferring people from on-prem to the cloud. And it's your data, it's still your data, whether you're on-prem or in the cloud. So there's really nothing to worry about there. Let's see. Can the cloud solution provider sell my practice data to a third party? I know that's a no.
Yeah, it falls in line with the data ownership question. We don't. There's nothing in the contracts. We don't do that kind of practice. It's simply a hard no. All your data is actually situated in a dedicated account. So every customer has their own accounts, which kind of helps with Oscar's point regarding ransomware. So the moment, God forbid, I don't want to guess at a reason, but should you cancel your contract for whatever reason, we simply delete your data. It's right there, easy to find, and just delete outright because of this model that we're leveraging.
Someone's asking about a hybrid approach. where there's on-prem server and cloud services as well, kind of for business continuity and things like that.
Sure. So we have a Swiss Army knife. Basically, Blob is an API, RESTful API solution. Our PowerServer just connects up to it, so we can have all kinds of hybrid solutions depending on your needs. You could have an on-premise PowerServer syncing to Blob for a secondary storage volume. You can have basically your primary storage in the cloud with PowerServer on-premise. You can have a VNA type solution with our gateway router options. So there's a lot of options that we can deploy or customize based on your needs. And I would just recommend speaking with your sales rep regarding that.
Here's another one. Okay, with DICOM, we got a few coming in. All right, let's keep it going. With DICOM data stored in the cloud with replication across multiple data centers, that doesn't provide a way to stop serious virus attack once in and also delete those across all replications. Do we need another setup for true HIPAA?
No. So RamSoft deploys a technology called soft delete. The way blob storage works is even if there's an action against a data set, whether it be a study or whatnot, it's never overwritten of the previous state. It actually creates a new state, and we're getting a little technical, but basically for 7 days, all the changes exist on that storage account. So God forbid something does sneak in and alter the data, we actually have all the previous states of that data for the past 7 days by default. So it is technically multiple versions or multiple iterations of that data set.
All right, another question. Has there ever been an instance where one of our clients has gotten attacked? I'm assuming we're talking about cloud, and if so, how fast were we able to recover?
So thankfully, no. We've never actually had a successful attack against any of our cloud solutions. We have helped multiple customers move to the cloud very aggressively because of on-premise attacks against their networks. Touching on Oscar's point and the fact that these are isolated islands, basically, I like to use the word that our solution is ransomware resilient. I don't want to use proof because things change all the time, but the typical ransomwares or any other attacks today are targeted against the OS layer, the Windows, Linux, which not. The way our blob storage works, the OS layer has no knowledge of this blob account, which means the attack would have to be very, very specifically tailored to the way our application works, which means your everyday ransomware attacks today would have a very, very hard time traversing any of those communication mediums.
Excellent point, Mark. Is there a way or an advantage to having 2 levels of storage archive? Higher cost, short-term storage, or lowered costs for long-term storage?
I was just going to touch. So if this is regarding on-premise, obviously it depends on your needs. The biggest thing to consider is priors, basically. How quickly, how often do you need to pull priors? Because that really determines your business case for whether to archive content or not.
Yeah, and I was just to add to that, I mean, and going to Mark's earlier point, being like the Swiss Army knife, we can set up and have different setups where you can have your more recents up in the cloud and archive locally to a gateway router. Just some, different setups that we can actually do to, lower your cost and make it more efficient for your doctors to have, high, fast access to their cloud solutions, and then just query and retrieve your priors and bring them up as needed.
Can you store some locally and then some older stuff archived? 2 years of high speed, high cost storage, and then archive older stuff.
So with a gateway router, we can do, as Carlos mentioned, we can do a lot with local triggers. So there's definitely options there.
RamSoft features that are only available on your cloud offering and not in the on-site solution. As far as the software itself, no, it's the same software. The feature set you get in the cloud, I mean, the IT guys can talk about that, but obviously, higher reliability, security, and those kind of things. But it's not different software. It's the same.
Yeah, we release the same packages whether on-premise or in the cloud. Obviously, with an on-premise deployment, you'd have to work with our support staff to facilitate maintenance windows, schedules, things of that nature. So it's a little more logistically heavy than in the cloud.
Again, I appreciate everybody joining us today for this panel, and please stay tuned for our next webinar. It'll be on April 28th, and marketing will be sending out announcements on that and what the topics will be and so forth. But we're doing a variety of webinars once a month, webinars, and then this type of panel discussion and so forth. So what we'd also like is your feedback. So you're going to receive a survey. So let us know how we did, and any other topics you'd like to see for future webinars or panel discussions, so we can, tailor things to your needs. We appreciate your time, and thank you once again. This concludes today's presentation.